Okay, let's talk about the most interesting tab in simulation, that is dynamic. For example, we have a simple plane here and simple rotation in this angle. I want to have her because of the gravity drop down. And before make it editable, I don't need to hair because I want to light simulation and make it editable. And it is selected and going to the simulation and add a hair. You can see we have hair here. For activating the dynamic, before that, going to the guides and make it a little bit taller, and you can select it. I want to just go to selection and delete this guide at the border. I will be explaining more this selection tool, brush tool, and just brush them and delete. I want to delete the border guides to fewer guides. I like it better now. It's nice. To activate dynamic, make sure you are not in any of selection tools of the hair. Just select the move tool and again select it and just play. And you can see they are fall down. And you can see they are intersect the plane and go through that. So it's not good. First, the segment of the guide are very important. More segment, you have more points and segment to simulate, and it's keep it better. Okay. The segment of here is important. I make it higher number to better simulation. Nice. And I will be explaining more the hair tag. But if you go to the tag, and we have hair tag, hair collider, hair material, and we use hair vertex in this lesson and hair collider. If you want to your hair collide to other object, you have to add the tag to the object that you want to collide with. Okay, you can see I increase the number of the frame and just playing and playing. It's play and you see the dynamic. If you go into the first point, you can see they are back into initial state. So you can set initial state. I will be explaining more, but if you don't want to play and play this, you can go to simulation, hair option, and activate dynamic interaction. If you activate dynamic interaction, it looks like this, playing and see the dynamics. But it redraw and redraw in this millisecond. The lower number, more quality, but don't touch that. If you activate redraw, you can see the simulation in this millisecond. It's more accurate. And you can see simulation all the time, and you don't need to play and play. Okay, it's activating the dynamic, the collision between her and other. It's calculate the gravity. I will explain more in force tab. The first force that affect the hairs is gravity in a negative y, and the stiffness, how stiff or smooth this hair be, and the forces, all winds, anything. You can see if you move the plane, release that, you can see we have always dynamic. You don't need to always play and play and play. Nice. If you want, you can reset it and then it will be released, reset the dynamic. So, a simple tag. I want to hair collide with the plane. Just select the plane, go to the tag, and in the hair tag, hair collider. Okay, it does not affect because you have to reset. And now you can see the hair are colliding with this object, but we have some issues that we can correct it right now. So reset, you can see they are collide with that. Imagine in a around of the hair, we have a radius that is calculate the collision. In some cases, we have a bad radius here. So going to the hair, going into the dynamic, and we have a lots of tab here: properties, animation, maps, modifier, and advanced. I will explain one by one. First, you can enable or disable the dynamic here. You can calculate collision or not, but you have to reset it again if you want. If you have a heavy scene, don't want to calculate the collision, you can do it. And the rigid, it's make the hair rigid and straight. If you activate it, boom, you can see something like that. But it has effect, but you have to reset it again. So you can see the hair is completely rigid. And if you move it, you can see, boom, the hair are completely rigid. If you want, you can use it. This rigid in a hair, with the properties, you can see the other settings like rigid in a rest mixed and the rest hold. These are acting like rigid, but in a different way. If you open the properties, the first thing is the surface radius. So for correcting some such these issues, you have to bring up that radius. You can see this radius, and it's correcting that issues because it calculates a radius around the hair, and boom, you can see it does not go through object because of that radius. You can see that. Yeah, some issues that you can correct it. You can see so surface radius. Imagine you can see the radius around the hair. So you can increase or decrease of this number. You can see automatically decrease the number of the hair, but make sure you reset it because it's important. With other tips and tricks, we can fix that issues. But if you want, you can increase or decrease that. Fix roots. If we have some unrooted hair to dynamic, it will be fixed. That just it's automatically click and don't uncheck that. Another tab of here is mass. Mass is actually, you can see a better tell you in the best way. You can see the mass in maps, in modifier or maps. I will show you mass in a maps. You can better understand in that. Actually, it's enable or disable the dynamic effect along the hair from root to tip. Means if you paint a hair vertex in some points that you assign the map to 1, it will be active in effect in a dynamic, but 0, it does not affect in dynamics. I will show you. If you want to create underwater effect, increase the number of the drag. If you reset, you can see slowly drop down because of drag. Nice. Hold root. You can see it's holding the root in this direction, the normal direction, and then bending the hair. Make it 0. You can see it's completely affect the head from the root. This is an hold. You can see it's holding straight the root. So right click, this number is nice. A stiffness, it means how stiff or smooth the hair are. You can see they're stiff. And a better description, the hair, these are the segment, and imagine this segment of hair are connecting with a spring. Okay, and you can make it more stiff or smooth. You can see, or you can decrease the number of the holes. So this is a stiffness. You can see more stiff or not. 100%. And the rest mix and the rest hold are actually something like rigid. Play with them to see. You can see it's a rest mix. If you reset, something like that. Rest hold. It's a different algorithm for. It's a like rigid, but in a different way. I won't just tell you mathematical thing about them. Just test and experiment them. Elastic limit and a deform. If you want to stretch your hair, if you want to, your hair does not stretch too much, you can give a value for them. It's a properties animation. Auto time means if you play, just make it deactivate the draw. If you play, but if you want to reset your play dynamic, just double click on this. Go to the start frame here. Auto time means it's calculate exactly the frame and the play of your hair here. But if you want to hair activate the dynamic from a specific frame, deactivate auto, and for example, from this frame to this frame, just you can see from that frame it and will be end from. So it means you can tell the software, please calculate dynamic in a specific range of the frame. I need auto frame. Reset, relax. It means it's calculating. If you hit the relax, it's calculating the dynamic. Play and it is begin again. It calculates the dynamic 10 frame. Boom. Just 10 frame and 10 frame and 10 frame. Or any frame that you assign here. If you don't want to simulate whole hair in the whole time, you can go step by step, 10 frame by 10 frame, or any frame that you want. You can type any number that you want. Just play and then come back again and just relax. It's calculate this frame that you're specific here and again. Nice. This is an animation. Maps are interesting. For using the maps, you need to paint the vertex of the hair. That you paint some points on the hair and tell the properties, for example, stiffness or drag. For example, I make 100% drag. If I play, you can see it gives the drag to whole hair. But I want to drag just given to the roots of my hair. So I have to paint that and give the map to the paint. You can paint drag properties. You can paint stiffness properties. You can paint the hold and mass and force. You can see the mass now. I set the stiffness to 100% and I don't want to assign it to whole hair. So I have to paint a vertex of the hair points and assign it here. And this stiffness effect that I make it 100% just assign to the points that I created here. So for doing that, you need to go to simulation and the tools and the brush. Every brush in a Cinema 4D I will be explaining it more. Every brush in the Cinema 4D has a mode. It's moving, and in this case, it has vertex point. I will be show you all of these things. Just vertex point. Now you can go to simulation to mode. The point. You can see the point. I paint these points of the root. Nice. You can paint in this angle. And I want to tell the software just give that specific setting to this paint. You can see the vertex tag of hair. Vertex tags will be assigned to the hair. And again, for simulation, exit of the any selection, and then you can play. Nice. You can see also it's give the stiffness to whole hair. Just I want to give the stiffness to these points, the root. Going to the hair, then going to the map, and drag and drop that map to stiffness. And now watch. You can see the drag just also assigned to this point of stiffness. That's it. Or you can clear that stiffness to make it to oh, sorry, I make it wrong. I have to assign that drag to drag point. Click and drag to this point. That's all what happened. Now you can see just drag assigned to these points. Or it's better to delete this selection, go into brush selection, and in brush option, simulation, no, sorry, tools, brush, vertex. I paint these points. Nice. And going to the hair, just make sure that you are exit from any selection, because if you inside the selection, the simulation does not work properly. And I make drag 100%. It's assigned to the whole, but I want just to drag and drop the drag just at the tips. And you can see, yeah, nice. You can see the roots are 0% of the drag, but the tips, the points that are red, I mean, it's painting, and we give please that give this 100% of drag just to the hair that we painted. And you can clear, and nice. Right click to the drag mass. For example, I want to mass 0 or a lower number. You can see, I think it's better to make it okay. I want to assign mass just this number to the tips. You can see it means we assign this number of the mass to the hair tag, and the other parts does not calculate in simulation. I make it 1 and test it again. You can see it means you can see the mass here. It means this hair vertex just assign this mass, and the mass means these parts now just be in calculation of the dynamic, and other parts that are not painting does not affect by dynamic. Actually, you can see the mass is turning off or on the dynamic for a specific part of the hair. So I clear that. It means now all of the hairs are calculating in mass. So you can control by maps. Another thing is a modifier. You can control drag, stiffness, for example, drag along the hair. So in this case, we don't need to any maps. And for a hair, this is root and this is a tip. First, assign a higher number of the drag. If you play that, you can see the drag assigned to the whole hair from the root to the tip. If I click and drag these points, means the 100% of drag assigned to, I make it vice versa, means 0% of the drag to the root and along the hair, along the guides. In these parts, we have 100% of drag. And if you play, you can see the roots are falling down faster and the tips are falling down slower. So this is all about the drag. You can right click and reset. I explained it before all of this. I tell them graphs. You can refer to my previous video to see all of these settings. And mass, you can control mass again. For example, I don't want to make it this, and you can see now you can see the mass at the tips are 0 and they are not affecting and they are not calculating in dynamic and in holding in this position. Nice. But if you make it vice versa, something like this is a root, we have something like this. Nice. You can see the mass. It means it's 100% of the mass from root to the tip. And other forces, for example, if you assign all forces, means, for example, gravity. For example, something like this. It means the gravity does not affect the tips and just affect the root from this part with this fall off. Make it 100% and this affect all of them. So I have drag. Make sure that this drag by number. So first you have to assign in properties a number of drag and then control it in a modifier along the hair from the root to the tip. And you can load any preset that you want. So with this modifier, very easy. In advanced, it's very important. You can assign the dynamic to the guides. That's the best way. And the guides controlling the hair. You can see we have lots of hair here and the dynamic of them. Or you can give all of the dynamic to the hair and go into the viewport and say, okay, I want to see the hair or guideline just. So it's better. You can see we have a custom segment. We have a custom segment. In guides, we have the segment, as I said before. If you increase or decrease our numbers, more segments, we have more detail to work and we have better simulation, but make sure that you need a stronger PC. But if you want to, don't change these segments from the guides and just want to go to tell the software, okay, in a dynamic simulation, I need custom segment. It does not change the segment of the actual guide, but it calculates based on this segment that you set here. And it causes better and faster dynamic, but if you want to accurate simulation, don't activate that. But if you if you have a lot of hair to simulate and want to make it faster, you can do it something like that. The steps, if this is a step of the simulation, and if you make it higher number, we have more accurate simulation, but be careful about your speed. Iteration, the higher number, you can see the higher number, it create more stiffer actually guides. Lower number, you can see we have softer and more springy. And you can see more stiff. Well, not. So this number 1, I think it's good. So iteration, it's a multiplier of the stiffness actually. Nice. Okay, this is the dynamic part of hair. Please don't forget to visit our TutorialCells apps channel. In this channel, we are introducing Android application and learn how to use them.